people are just running for the hills. You got the receiver opting out and hitting the transfer portal. You got their best defensive back. He's jumping ship. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see another 8 to 10 people from Alabama hightail it out of there. And we knew that that was going to happen once he retired. We knew that once Saban retired that, okay, maybe I need to look elsewhere. Maybe the culture isn't going to be the same. You hired this who? I don't even know who this guy is. Yeah, I'm out of here. And that's what's happening. There's a few guys still there. Hopefully they can keep it together. But we'll see. We will see. See what happens, man. We will see what happens. But I think it's Alabama culture is going to change. People say that it's not going to change. It's going to change. Nick Saban was a culture in himself. So it's going to change. Now, it could be better. It could be worse. I can't imagine it being better. Might stay the same. It's not going to stay the same. Culture's going to change. And we'll see what happens. But the bottom line is people are hightailing it from Alabama. There's too many options out there for if you're a big-time player for you to sit or be coached by somebody you don't even know who he is. That's a problem in itself. I think these Alabama players are like, why am I staying here? Why do I need to be here? This guy, I don't even know who he is. He didn't recruit me out of high school. I have no clue. And with the transfer portal, where 5-star guys don't sit on the bench anymore, where they're transferring out to different school, it's going to be indicative that Alabama, that they hit on these guys. He got to hit the ground running. He's got to get out there. And I think he's got to recruit in-house first and then go get some other people. And I don't know how many people he's trying to bring from Washington with him. I think it's going to be trouble. I think it's going to be trouble. I think Alabama might be in some trouble. You know, we'll find out. I'm not going to say year one because it's bound to take a drop off. If you get certain people to leave, it may take a drop off. And one thing to keep in mind as well, SEC respect. While they respect Alabama and its tradition, it respected Nick Saban. Like referees respected Nick Saban. So maybe you don't get that call. You don't get that holding call. You don't get that pass interference call because of the respect/fear factor of Nick Saban. That's going to go away. Now, will he be able to build that up? Maybe. But I'm just saying initially, all that respect and things that were built up, that starts over. That goes away. So Alabama is going to be fighting for a lot of respect, a lot of different things moving in the future. And don't believe, or you better believe, that teams are recruiting against Alabama that way. They are recruiting against Alabama that way. They are talking about not respecting him, all of that stuff. All of that stuff. It's not going to be the same culture. You know, you're not getting the same type of coaching. This new guy, he can't get you to the NFL like I can get you to the NFL. All the same stuff college coaches have been doing forever that they haven't been able to do the last 17 years to Alabama, they are now going to do. So we're going to find out how good the culture of Alabama is, how good DeBoer is as a coach. For me, the jury's still out. Washington, to me, was kind of a flash in the pan. I believe Washington was a flash in the pan. I don't think they were going to be sustainable, especially moving to the Big Ten. I don't think Washington was going to be a sustainable program. To me, Washington was more of an 8-4 program that won a bunch of close games this year, got hot, had a good quarterback, really good receivers, good offensive line, and was able to ride that to a national championship game. but I don't think their program is one that's sustainable long term. And I think that's why he got out. He moved to a bigger program, a higher profile job, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So we will absolutely see. Yeah, that's and if you're over on YouTube, you can kind of see what we're talking about. Anybody that's on YouTube, check it out. You can see what we're talking about, the guys that are leaving. They're good football players. Outstanding football players are hightailing it from Alabama. So TikTok, if you are wanting to check it out, just click that YouTube link in my bio, man. If you're following me, first of all, if you're not, please give me a follow. And then go subscribe to Big B Sports Talk over on YouTube, and you can check out what we're talking about. We got it up on the screen here. Good stuff. Showing everybody what is going on. So Alabama is, it's a crossroads. I'm not going to say they're in trouble yet, but after spring, that'll be the telling sign because guys can still, okay, you know what? I'm going to stick it out through the spring and see what this guy's got. I'm going to see what he's got. And after spring ball, we'll know. If there's a mass exodus, we'll know. Uh-oh, this is over. This is over. If people stay, okay, maybe he can hold on. Maybe he can build something here. Maybe he can build something. But I'll be interested to see. I'll be very interested to see exactly what happens with Alabama. It's just a mass exodus of people. And if it's even more during the springtime, I think that's going to be the telling sign. That's going to be the telling sign, people. We got about 4 months to find out what's really going on at Alabama, what's going on behind the scenes. So, personally, I don't really care. Alabama's been on top forever. I'd like to see some new blood. That's just me. That's just me. I'd love to see some new blood. And it's not like Alabama hasn't had down years before. People act like Alabama's been great forever. Hell, when I was in college, back in 97 and 98, Alabama wasn't even any good. I mean, they weren't any good. They were not in the national championship race. They weren't ever being talked about. I mean, Alabama just wasn't that thing back then. And I think people forget that because they've been good for so long here. But, you know, it doesn't go back 100 years. They haven't been good forever. Hell, matter of fact, the SEC wasn't even close to the best conference back then. Not even close to the best conference. I mean, the only good teams in the SEC at the time were Florida and Alabama. Or not Alabama, Florida and Tennessee. That was it. Everybody else was average at best. That included LSU, Alabama. I mean, Arkansas was just as good as Alabama back then. Mississippi State was just as good. But they didn't dominate college football, not even close. So if they're not good, don't worry. College football will be just fine. College football will be just fine. Alabama hasn't dominated college football. For instance, it's just like Notre Dame, people. Notre Dame has been classified as one of the greatest schools of all time, college football. And they were. But when was the last time Alabama or Notre Dame was really, really relevant? I mean, when was that? It's been forever. And college football has lived on, and it will continue to live on. So, kind of is what it is, people. It is what it is.